There is a lot of positivity around the Louisiana Tech men's basketball program, and the reason for that is the guy to my side. Head coach Eric Konkol heading into year 6 at the helm for the Bulldogs, excited to spotlight his career and what has made him so successful over these years. I'm Bryan Fenley. I'm a national anchor for Fox Sports Radio. First of all, Eric, thank you so much for doing this. I know you're a busy guy. You've got some player workouts going on, so there's a whole lot that you have to attend to. So really, again, means a lot to have you here. And I really am excited about spotlighting your career. But before I get into that, how have you been affected by the hurricane, and how has the community embraced an ability to support others through this time? And what have you done to help spearhead that?
Well, first, Bryan, thank you so much for having me on. And it's great to be able to talk about Louisiana Tech and our state of Louisiana, especially during this time, because there has been a lot of devastation, certainly down in the Lake Charles area of Louisiana, which is a few hours south of us. Our immediate area was affected by power outages, some trees down, limbs and branches that we had to clean up. Those were things that are easily done, but our efforts are really being spent on trying to send resources, both monetarily and physical resources like water, perishable, non-perishable items down to our friends in southern Louisiana in Lake Charles. We've got our department has set up the equipment semi-trailer that football will typically use, and on September 15th from 3 to 7 p.m. trying to load that thing up as much as we can and send it down south.
And a lot of it's going to McNeese, if I'm not mistaken, and in ushering in supplies and using that equipment truck, as you said. Your career, very much enjoyed following it. How did a kid from central Wisconsin all of a sudden become infatuated with basketball?
That's a great question, Bryan. My mom and dad grew up on dairy farms, and my dad's the youngest of 10 and always had a love of sports. My mom's the middle of 8. And so I had a very, very big family, and every birthday or any other celebration, of course, there'd be a hoop or a football or something. And sports was a big part of it. In fact, my dad would love to have played more sports, but being the youngest of 10, he was really asked to be a part of that family farm and help out an awful lot. He got to play a little bit of football, a little bit of track and field, but had a love for basketball and other sports. So I'm the oldest of 3 and just was always growing up with that opportunity to play. And for whatever reason, basketball was the one that I enjoyed to play the most, and was fortunate to have 2 very supportive parents. Had a high school coach in Greg Jensen that I grew up going to his camps and really wanted to play for him. And then was fortunate enough to play in college. And it was during that time I kind of was really thinking about what is it that I really want to do. As players, you always feel like you could play forever.
Sure.
But I looked at my coaches and really just wanted to be a lot like them, and been very fortunate to have a lot of help along the way.
Now, your parents, I've read this, Eric, they wanted you or viewed you as perhaps someone who could be a chiropractor. And that might have been a career path that they envisioned for you. But you obviously did what you loved and headed the coaching ranks, and you felt like that was your life's purpose. How much faith did you have to have in yourself as you were trying to break through in the coaching business and find your start?
Well, I think you have to have a lot. And for me, when I went to college, my dad was in construction, and the idea of being an engineer, I'll never forget this, Bryan. I was working a summer job. I was a Division III player and had to help put myself through school. And I remember working on my dad's job site. It was a very hot couple of weeks in Wisconsin, and I was set to go to Wisconsin Platteville, play for Bo Ryan, and start school in engineering. And he said, "Yeah, Eric, you're going to want to be an engineer because they're in those air-conditioned job trailers over there." And so I started out in that, and then as college goes, and I think it's why we have such an awesome responsibility as college coaches, being around our guys during these years. trying to find yourself. And that's what happened to me. I started on engineering, then started really more of sports medicine in my mind, but it was really quickly after that I decided I'd really like to be a coach, and still pursued the academic route to maybe go into chiropractor school, and applied and was ready for that. But I was really set on trying to be a graduate assistant, and I was fortunate to get that opportunity and be able to move on from there.
Being a coach, especially at the helm of a Division I program, your hours are, I mean, countless hours are devoted to what you're doing. And so as you have made the rise from, like you said, being a grad assistant and then being an assistant at George Mason and in Miami and others, you, I would have to think, have to be a master of time management. And so, like, being a chiropractor, yeah, you have a 9 to 5, but being a coach, it's like you're working at all hours of the day. And so when you're finding like a spouse that understands that, like, what's the key? Because it's like you are going to be working at all hours of the day and they have to understand that.
It's really true, and I'm very, very fortunate in that. I've been married to my wife Megan for 17 years. We met in college. She was a women's basketball player
Oh,
there on
wow.
the
Okay.
men's side, and I started coaching during her senior year, and we saw each other, I think, twice that entire 10 months.
Wow.
And so she had every opportunity to get rid of me, and I'm very thankful she didn't. Um, but I've always looked at coaching as really more of a lifestyle than a job, and also took very much the thought of if you really do and work in a field that you love, it really doesn't feel that much like work. I've also thought that coaching is very much that if you take your 9 to 5 job and then you invest in a lot of different hobbies, you kind of combine all that into coaching. And this is very much a passion of mine. It's also a passion of my wife and our 2 boys. We love being a part of a team. We love having an extended family with our team and also our staff and their families. Grew up around a lot of family. And I enjoy this very, very much, being surrounded by so many different people from all different walks of life, from all over the country, and calling Ruston home here at Louisiana Tech.
Eric Konkol joins us, head coach for Louisiana Tech. And yeah, that goes right into my next question, being embraced by this community. Have you ever had an unexpected conversation with a fan who recognized you, say, at like the grocery store or any other local business, and you had a really neat conversation that kind of stuck with you, where you were picked out in public and really got to know the camaraderie or just the passion of the Bulldog fan?
Well, it happened right away, and it was hired in May of 2015, and uh, shortly after that, you go to the grocery store. My family wasn't here yet, and you run into people and people that have become friends, um, loyal supporters of the program, have brought their family, or our kids go to school with theirs, and it's what makes Ruston and Louisiana Tech so special. We talk about it in recruiting, and we'll say to our recruits and say, hey, you can't hide here. You're going to go to the grocery store and get stopped by a 90-year-old woman or a 6-year-old boy and telling you how excited they were about the game the other night, and so forth. So I love it. I relish it. I love being a part of a community where we're all raising kids and trying to do the best job we can each day. And then, of course, people are very, very passionate about Louisiana Tech here.
Why do your players love to play for you?
Well, you'd have to ask them that, Bryan. But I would say, from what they've told me, is I've had very few bad days. We're gonna bring it every single day with great energy. That's after the greatest win or the toughest loss. Of course, there's going to be heartbreak, but we're gonna turn the page and keep going. We've got a group of staff members here that really care about our guys. We care about them as people, and I know our players feel that. We're driven to help them become the best they can be. That comes with great accountability, but I do know that our guys feel that we've got a real passion for them as people, and want the very best for them in their future.
You have a significant passion as a great recruiter, and what a unique opportunity to bring players to such a college town in Ruston, as you said, so much passion around the program. Why is it such an easy sell? You're winning, you're a guy who really cares about your players, but when you get out there in the recruiting trail and you talk about what this program is all about, why do people, their eyes open wide when they hear you talking about what you're doing?
Well, recruiting is a great challenge, and it's got to be done every day. And it's got to be done with a level of evaluation in mind of what fits. Of course, we're looking for great talent, but we're looking for the right people. And that's what's made this coronavirus so challenging, is doing it on Zoom like this, or doing it over the phone, and really trying to project the community atmosphere here, because I do think it's our best selling point. Yes, we've got a beautiful arena. Some other programs may have a newer one. We've got a lot of nice new construction going on campus. Some other program, they might have more of it. But what I always say is I'll put our people up to anybody's. And that's not just in our program, but in our administration, of our athletic director, Tommy McClellan, our president, Dr. Geis, and then the people in the community. There's just something special about people, and when everybody's pulling the right direction, and that's Louisiana Tech.
You've had an opportunity to get some of your own people, your players, together at practice. I've seen that you've been out there getting in some workouts. What has that been like, just from a morale boosting perspective?
Well, I think the thing that this coronavirus has taught, I know me, and I think so many people, is that great need for people in connection. A simple high five that we're all hesitant to give right now, or even can't see someone smile through a mask. I mean, there's those pieces of connection. So being able to be on the floor at times this summer, we've just started school yesterday, and getting started back up with our guys is really the great reason why we love coaching, is being out on the floor, working towards something, making that connection with our guys towards getting better and improvement. But it's what we've missed. We missed it back in March. We had a lot of time apart, and we're trying to play catch up here.
Yeah, 22 wins a season ago, and so much optimism moving forward. A senior-laden team with some experience and some great recruits coming in. When is it time? Do you ever find yourself in that coaching mode as a parent? Like, you've got the two kids and you're like, well, wait a minute. I am a parent, but I'm also a coach. But you're so embedded in the coaching role where you kind of have to pull back and say, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, we talk about, you put your life in silos a little bit, where, hey, this is what my responsibilities are as a coach. This is what I need to be able to do as a parent. They, of course, blur into one another. I've got a sixth grader and a fourth grader, both boys that love our team, and they hear me on the phone talking to our players or our recruits, and they're invested. They're invested in it. But I am a dad first. I'm also a husband. I'm a brother. I'm a uncle. I'm a son, and got a lot of different things that I want to be great at. And I think what we've tried to do is do it each day with a certain level of characteristics and beliefs and things that can kind of be our North Star in anything that we're asked to do each day. But it's a challenge to juggle all those types of things, just like everybody that's got a job and a parent and in America or in the world.
Eric, my final question for you, and again, I'm so grateful for you. Why are you so high on this team moving forward?
Well, we've got really good people, Bryan. This team, we've got 5 seniors. We've got a number of upperclassmen that have been in this program a long time. We've got some freshmen and sophomores that are really, really excited to be here, and they fit. They're kids that love the game of basketball. They're motivated to be great. They want to earn a terrific degree from a tier 1 institution, and they just feel like they fit into this community with one another. They're guys that I love being around, and I think it starts with that. We've got talent, yes, you got to have that, but having guys that you love being around every day and working towards something and be able to push one another is a great thing, along with our coaching staff that we've had some continuity with, and really good people. So going to work every day is a real joy.
I spoke too soon. I got one more question for you, and that is, when you think about how rewarding your job is at Louisiana Tech, can you recall one anecdote where you had a very, very fulfilling conversation with a player that, like, when you think about why you love what you do so much, it's those kind of stories that are just like, that resonate with you the most? Some story or some discussion or learning experience you had with a player that, again, made everything you do so worth what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great one, Brian. And I think it comes later. When I first started this, when I was a GA at 23 years old, and became a full-time assistant at 25 at George Mason under Jim Larinaga, who I'm so grateful for. In those early days, you kind of think about, hey, this is just about how can I help my boss, and how can I help, how can we win games, and how can it's kind of about that end game bottom line of winning. And that's certainly very, very important. To be able to continue coaching, there's got to be a level of performance. But if that's all it was about, it really wouldn't be all that fulfilling. I have found over time that it's the conversations later. This will be year 21 for me now in coaching overall, and it's the conversations that I had a couple weeks ago with a member of my first team here 5 years ago, in talking about those memories, and talking about maybe some things that we've talked about where the players may have thought I was crazy at the time, but now it's kind of coming together, much like
Sure.
when we think our parents are crazy and we start doing things just like them. But it's those conversations later that really make you feel like, gosh, this is special, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do this.
It's those growing pains. Eric Konkol has it rolling in Ruston. Can't wait to see you guys back on the court when that happens. So much optimism around the program. Really appreciate you, Eric. I'm Bryan Fenley.
Thank you, Brian.